Focus on me. Okay, I need to pause this so I can actually like focus. Hi. So today, I'm chilling. I'll be honest, I've been procrastinating. I haven't filmed anything makeup related. And I feel like painting. And so we're gonna do that and maybe chat about mental health. Thoughts? I'm not wearing my mic, so the audio could be weird, but I think it'll be fine. So yeah, I have these little eyes that I did like a few days ago. I posted like a little TikTok. I don't know if that's gonna be like so overblown or like not even in focus or what, but I had these little eyes that I was painting. This is my eye, this is my eye, and then the other ones are just like random. Oh no, wait, sorry. This is my eye. These two are my eye. And then the other one, this is Lucy Boynton's eye. This is actually Natasha Leon. That's her eye. And then this is a random that I found on Pinterest. And then for the faces, which is what I'm gonna work on today. I don't know how well you guys can see it. I can't tell. This is a makeup artist. I've forgotten her name, but I follow her on Instagram, but I found her on Pinterest. Same with this guy's face. And then this eye was just something that I made up. Wait, did I make that? No, I can't remember. You guys, can you get along, please? So I'm just playing because I think I've said this before in videos, but I'm still kind of new to watercolor. I don't have that much experience with it, and I also keep like dabbling and then stopping, so I don't have time to like actually learn. So yeah, whatever. I don't know. That's what I'm playing with. So I'm gonna like work on these faces today, I think, and I kind of want to add like some little flowers here and probably here just to like fill the space. So I typically go on Pinterest and just kind of like scroll through to find faces that I'm interested in. These are artificial, but they look cool, right? I like them. I think I'm gonna use these. So I'm gonna start off by sketching with pencil. I'm eating apricots. I like flowers because they're so easy. Like, they don't need to look a certain way, you know? This feels like sacrilege because this is supposed to be my like thing that I do that I don't fucking film, but I thought it would be fun and now I'm regretting it. So watercolors are very frustrating for me. I'm used to oil paint, but what I like about watercolor is that it's like not toxic to breathe in. And it's just like, it's less messy, you know, just a lot easier. And I like the layering. I like the like thin layers of color, like the washes of color and everything. That's nice, but I don't know. I'm still so confused by the medium. I was watching, I just started it, so I haven't really gotten anywhere with it, but I'm probably like a few minutes, I don't know, maybe like 10 minutes in. But I started watching Lex Friedman's podcast with, fuck, I wrote his name down. Something Haidt? Jonathan Haidt? I don't know if that's how you pronounce it, but it sounds really interesting. He's basically, he is like a psychologist, I believe, who studies social media and the negative effects of it. Something that interests me a lot. I know that some, like, in Alex Talks, it comes up a lot. We should talk about how amazing Bo Burnham is. I meant to do an entire Alex Talks video about Inside and how fucking genius it was and how everything he said was incredible and amazing and blah blah blah. And just when I was like, we should still be talking about this, why aren't people still talking about this, he released the outtakes or whatever. Highly recommend if you haven't seen it. Anyway, I'm listening to one of those songs right now. Okay, so I just like completely forgot that I was like, that you were here and that I was supposed to be talking to you. I kind of fucked up this face, but like, whatever. So I've been watching a lot of Lex Fridman podcasts. I mostly watched the clips before. My boyfriend watches him a lot. I watched the one with the guy from Imagine Dragons. His name is Dan Reynolds. Mostly because like I came across a clip and it was like, how does he deal with depression? So I was like, let's see how he deals with depression. And I ended up watching that entire podcast, which was really interesting. He's an interesting guy and they had a great conversation, so I highly recommend it. But if you haven't seen Lex Fridman's podcasts in general, I would recommend them. It sort of brought me to start thinking about like, so many introverts are famous. Like they end up being actors or, you know, actors or singers, or they're like in the public eye in some way. Introverts are typically like, I want to be home. Everybody leave me alone kind of thing, you know? And I was thinking about, this is like someone that I've been wanting to talk about a lot recently, is Beyonce. So something that I've always found so interesting about Beyonce is that she, like if you see old interviews with her, I mean, she's a force of nature on stage, right? But if you see like old interviews, she's so like demure and like quiet and shy. And she, even on like social media and just kind of like, I don't know, throughout like the years and life and everything, she really doesn't share that much, you know? You don't really know much about like her personal life, which I find like so interesting. And also like, obviously people who are on their level, it's like, how do you maintain that level of like mystery or just privacy, you know? So she's someone that I've always kind of like, I just find so fascinating in that way. And I appreciate when people who are on that level and try to keep things private, you know? So one of the Lex and the guy from Imagine Dragons, he says like, he asks him, do you feel more lonely now that you're famous? Which I thought was such an interesting question, because like, if you're not like thinking about this stuff on the regular, you don't necessarily like see that, or why that would even you know, be a thing, that like someone would, you know, be on such a huge scale, be like interacting with or influencing such like a grand scale of people. I hate this face. And feeling like so lonely. Like, I don't know, I get this question a lot. Like people always ask me like, how are you so comfortable in front of a camera? And I always think it's so weird. I think it's like such a strange question, because like I'm alone. Like I'm just talking the way that I would talk like normal if there were just like another person here, you know? Like this is not all of you. You know what I mean? Like all of you who are watching, it's like a completely separate thing. I'm filming this alone. I edit it alone. I choose whether or not this like goes on the internet. And when it does, it's still like, I see the numbers and stuff. I think I've talked about this a little bit, but I see the numbers, but it's still like, it feels so removed from what it really is than like actually, you know, talking to people, like interacting, like being on like a stage or whatever. To get back to Inside by Bo Burnham, which if you haven't seen, I highly recommend. It's like an absolute fucking masterpiece, and I think he's a genius. It like affected me. I think I talked about this a little bit, but that shit affected me. He talks about how like he's a performer, obviously, so like he's a comedian, he does these songs and things, and he was performing on stage, like performing his stand-up on stage, and then he ended up getting panic attacks while on stage. I just had a revelation while I was talking to you. This is one of the things that what's his name? Is it still on the TV? Jonathan Haidt, I believe. This is one of the things that he, essentially his podcast with Lex Fridman, he's sort of like responding to Mark Zuckerberg's podcast with Lex Friedman, condemning social media. One of the things that he brings up is how, you know, things like Instagram and Facebook incentivize the content. I would include YouTube in this. His focus wasn't YouTube, but I would absolutely include YouTube in that. That they just like put so much pressure on creating more content to draw more people to the platforms, which is literally what I'm fucking doing right now. I had this idea. I was like, I think it'll be chill to film myself painting, and it'll also, like, you know, give me an excuse to just do it because I enjoy it. And then I started like procrastinating. I started like really putting it off and being like, I don't want to do this. Like I set everything up and then I just wouldn't do it. I was like avoiding it. And I realized that like once I involve this element, it makes me not enjoy it anymore. Like it's a thing that I'm supposed to just like do separate of like work and stuff. That makes me feel better when like the internet and social media isn't involved. And as I was just like talking, I was like, I fucking don't want to do this right now. I don't want to film this. I just want to do it and I don't want anyone else involved. Which is so crazy because I was just like talking about just like introverts and how like a lot of introverts end up becoming famous. They end up going into these professions, these fields that like create these massive audiences for them. But that doesn't necessarily like, fuck, I don't know. Cause like I'm thinking about Beyonce and about how like when she's on stage, she's like a completely different person than when the person that you see. Obviously like none of us fucking know Beyonce. Do any of you know Beyonce? Cause I don't. So it's just kind of like speculation, but she seems like just this like extremely confident. She's like this person who like, she's like an icon. And then the rest of her life is just like completely private and removed. And, it's just interesting to me because I have a feeling that like the real her is very much like an introvert, and that like the Beyonce that we know is like her, the way she expresses herself. It's the way she expresses her art, you know? It's kind of interesting. Anyway, I was just thinking about this podcast with the Imagine Dragons guy. This is just a fucking video now. Because when Lex asked that, wow, did I get totally off track? I've been kind of like back and forth, so I don't even know what I'm doing anymore. Dan, is that his name? Dan Reynolds. He was like, I don't want my response to be like, oh, fame, woe is me, or whatever. And Lex was like, made the point that like you're a human and you have to like experience these things, because like it's the typical kind of like response that it's like, oh well, you're a fucking rich, like famous whatever, like fuck you, you know, you're like, your life is amazing. But I think one of the interesting things that people should think about a lot is it's the psychological effects that essentially anything is going to have on you. And there isn't really that like, well, you're successful, so shut the fuck up or whatever, you know, or like you're famous or you're talented or whatever. I was like, this is great. I'll just like chat with you guys while I paint, but I'm realizing that I just like, I can't do that. And I've mentioned this a few times where like my makeup never looks as good when I'm filming it, because it's so hard for me to focus on like doing it correctly and explaining what I'm doing or talking to you guys about things. Which is why my live streams, if I ever live stream, they end up being like 4 hours long just to do like a natural look. Yeah, I don't know. This didn't go to plan. They look cute except for this face. This face looks fucking horrible. I really fucked her up. I think I can save it, but like at this stage, I really don't like it. I like how everything else is going, especially like that guy. This is the status. This is the current status that we're at right now. You know? But yeah, I've just, I'm realizing that, I don't want to share this with you guys. Sorry. I'm gonna try. I should probably close that door too, because the traffic has been like so loud, but the cats are really enjoying being in the sun. Do you guys like it when YouTubers talk about mental health? Because it's not something that bothers me. I find it to be very interesting. And I guess kind of like illuminating, and probably helps to make people feel less like alone, I guess. Or at least a deeper connection probably to like the person behind the screen. It's never really something that I mean, I've talked about it in more of like a philosophical kind of way, but I haven't really talked about my experience. And I'm kind of at this point where I'm like, well, it's not something that I like don't want to talk about. It's just like I have no problem. Like I'll talk to anybody about it, to be completely honest. My like personal experience for the most part, you know. There's certain things that I'm not going to divulge, but I don't really have a problem with talking about it. It just feels like, do I want to open that can of worms on the internet, you know? But I'll be honest, like I feel like I attract a very mature and interesting audience. I feel like a lot of you guys are like regulars, are like really dope people who are like smart. I feel like that's so rare to find like a community on the internet that is like that. It's all the other stuff. It's all the ancillary people that I'm like, do I really want this on the internet? You know what I mean? I don't ever want to do something behind a paywall because I just think it's stupid. But it would be an easier way of weeding out the shit and keeping the cool. You know? Literally, you are watching me deliberate in my head in real time whether or not I want to talk to you about stuff. Where I am personally, here, I'll just level with you guys. I'll level with you. Because I feel like a lot of people know that I've been like in a rut for probably like 2 fucking years as far as like work, kind of. It's like kind of difficult to like constantly be coming out with content. And I know a lot of you guys are like, you're always coming out with content, we love it. And like, I appreciate that, thank you very much, because like I really do try to come out with content constantly. But like, it's fucking, I'm burned out. I run out of ideas. Currently, I haven't really been feeling like creatively fulfilled by my job. And I really enjoy educating. Like I really love teaching you guys techniques and stuff, but I feel like it's been kind of few and far between when something really ignites like a little bit of like that passion, kind of, you know? Anyway, I've obviously been thinking of this is something that like every single person in the world is gonna like think about at some point with their job, if not like constantly. Or just like in their lives in general, but like the social media aspect of it, having to, you know, being in an isolating job where you're like working from home and just like not really interacting with people that much, or like the majority of your interaction with lots of people is like digital. It just is a lot mentally. And I just am realizing though, the more that I like put social media away, and the more that I live in like the real world, how much better I feel. Which is one of the reasons that I was like watching this, I almost said documentary, this podcast with Lex Friedman and this guy, Jonathan Haidt. It's really fucking bad for us. It's so bad for us. And I feel like this is so fucking, it's so fucking stupid because I'm recording a fucking YouTube video about how bad social media is for us, and I'm gonna put it on YouTube, you know? Anyway, I've been really trying to do real things more, to create tangible things that make me feel accomplished, that foster talents and passions that I have that aren't just digital, that also aren't just about me. I hate that YouTube is so much about me. One of the comments that I receive a lot from people is like, you're so beautiful. You have no idea. I never in a million years thought that there would be people who were looking at me and being like, she's so beautiful. That's amazing. I love that. But it's also such a superficial thing, and I don't like that aspect of it. Like, I hate that my YouTube channel and everything, like you go on my Instagram, it's just me, it's just fucking me. Like, I just hate that so much. And I'm getting to the point where I'm like, I don't want it to be about me anymore, you know? Which is why I like this shit, because it's like removed from me. It can be the focus. Nobody has to look at me. You don't have to look at me to look at that, you know? I've been feeling very anxious recently, and I'm realizing how much my job and also just like social media in general contributes to that. One of the things that this guy was bringing up in the Lex Friedman podcast, which I'm gonna fucking link because everybody should watch it at this point, especially since like I just feel like I'm gonna be referencing a lot, even though I've only, I guess I'm like 30 minutes in, 30 minutes in, was the effects that we've seen social media have on teens and just their mental health in general. And I mean, like, just the statistics are fucking insane. And it's like very obvious, I think, like what it would do to you, you know, because like I'll find myself, oh, this was something in the Inside, okay, I'm hopping around like crazy, but Inside, Bo Burnham, he just released the outtakes, and it's like a bunch of like extra songs that he didn't include in the actual Inside, which is on Netflix, which you should absolutely go watch if you haven't seen it. It's fucking amazing. I don't know how many times I'm gonna say that. But in the outtakes, there's this moment that he includes, and I don't know if this is like, I don't know if this was like a real moment or if he just like recorded it. It seems so real, but you just know, you don't know, because he's such a fucking genius. Where he like films something and then, or is singing a song or whatever, and then finishes, or no, I think he's like filming himself like lip syncing to one of his songs. And then he stops and he's still recording, and he like gets a notification on his phone. He picks up his phone and he's just like on his phone, just like chuckling and just scrolling. And it's like a good, like, he really like, you linger in that moment, and then he goes, oh fuck, like he realizes that he's like still filming, which was such a beautiful contrast between like all of his messages in the special versus like who he really is, and how we're all like affected by social media. We're all affected by like all the fucking notifications on our phones. And even when we like try so hard not to be just like ruled by our phones and notifications and that fucking dopamine, it's so hard to avoid, or at least just to stay away from. It's like it truly is an addiction. I'll find myself doing that often, where I'm like, I'm trying to focus on one thing, and you see just like the light turn on. You're just like, what's that, you know? And just being on my phone before I go to bed and all of that stuff. I'm just realizing like how much better I feel when I'm doing real things, when I'm doing this, when I'm like reading a book, going for a fucking walk, just listening to music, like with no like visuals, just like headphones in and listening to music. I think that is like such a different thing. It puts me in a completely different mood. Constantly taking in like content like podcasts or YouTube videos, or, you know, even I would put Netflix in that category. Or just the mindless scrolling is really, I think, probably the worst one. It just like, it eats away at your brain, I think, and it doesn't do anything for you at all. And it just makes you feel awful, especially the mindless scrolling. I'll often find myself on, you know, TikTok or Instagram, just scrolling and looking. And this is another thing, just as a content creator, seeing what other people are creating and feeling fucking horrible about myself that I'm not doing more or doing better. Which I think is like, that's just like a human thing, but like social media makes it so much more prevalent because it's just right there, you know? The sirens are really annoying. I should probably shut that. Well, this is kind of an experiment, I guess. This is like a little bit more along the lines of an Alex Talks video, which I would like to do more of, I think. Maybe streaming or something. I always say that, but I don't want to do it. You know what it is? In addition to what I'm already doing for YouTube, I don't want to add more digital shit, you know? I guess I would be interested in hearing, this is something that really interests me. Mostly social media, the internet, and just like what it's doing to our psychology, the way that we think, the way that we interact with things online, with each other online, the contrasts between that and real life, like the way that you might respond to someone or interpret someone's comment online versus like how you might interact with that exact same person, that exact same like conversation or comment in person. Yeah, I'm interested in this stuff, and I'm curious like if you guys want to talk about it more, and if you have questions. And what I'm really interested in is like what age group you're in and what resources you have to learn about these things, because I think it's so important. And I feel like people are researching it, but I just don't know if like there's enough. I really just don't know if there's enough to like keep up with technology and the way that it's moving and how it's like fucking us up. Like it's basically like the damage is done. We're kind of like trying to catch up, you know? And also if you're just interested in like chatting with me about mental health, because I feel like so many people do it. So I kind of just feel like I don't need to, which might be stupid. Yeah, I don't know. I want to hear from you guys before I like continue any of this shit. This is such a train wreck. I just want to get sappy for one moment and just say so much how I appreciate those of you who are like cool people. It really is so hard to find on the internet in groups, you know? Like you see so much stupidity on the internet that like, I don't know, when cool people have like interesting things to say and they're just like normal? I don't know what else to, like normal's probably not the word. Normal's definitely not the word, but like they're just not like pissed off and yelling at people about nothing or commenting stupidity. I really appreciate that. I feel like a lot of you are like that. So thanks for being here. Thanks for being here. I'm gonna upload this shit tomorrow morning and I'm gonna see what happens. And I don't know, man, I need your feedback, you guys. I just need your feedback. I've been doing this shit way longer than I've been like successful at it, you know? So it's like I just hit 1 million subscribers last month and I'm like, I'm done. The fuck more can I do? Like I just don't know. I don't know. Yeah, I'm gonna end this by saying go for a walk outside and leave your phone at home. Maybe don't, especially if you live in like a dangerous city. But like maybe don't listen to music. You know what's nice about I got the AirPods Pro. They have the little switch between noise cancellation, which kind of freaks me out. It just like makes everything fuzzy. Anyway, and then there's like the little switch button that you can make it so that like you are very aware of your surroundings, which I think is smart. Tangent. I'm gonna go and I'm just gonna fucking enjoy the rest of my day. Because Monday I'm gonna film like regular stuff. And like, listen, the ideas that I have I think are really cool. I'm actually gonna film an all drugstore bridal makeup look because I hate bridal makeup looks. I think they all suck. So I'm gonna do my own version and I'm gonna do all drugstore, the ones that you guys suggested to me. We're lumping it all into one video. So I think that'll be cool. Yeah, I don't know. If you have suggestions for like cool things that you wanna see, please let me know. I don't know, fuck. Just write whatever the fuck you want in the comments. Like if you wanna talk to me about shit, do that. I usually am like super active in the comments, like right when a video goes up, but not so much after that because like after a certain point in time, it's not my subscribers anymore. It's like randos. And like sometimes the randos are okay, but a lot of the time they're kind of dicks. So I tend to avoid them. Okay, signing off finally one more time. Bye. I like that eye, that light, it's good. I'm so rusty, I just have so much work to do.